Welcome back into the NESN Digital Studio. Hope you enjoyed your time at Gillette Stadium. Now we've got Mike Cole in studio, and we're going to talk about some locks and upsets. Week 1 is upon us. The week is here. So we want to see, what to do, right? Everybody wants to know who they should be betting on. And Mike's going to give us a little bit of an insight. So let's start with a lock.
Okay.
The people at home, who do they want to lock in?
Full disclosure, week 1, almost impossible to pick, so I want to get that out of the way. But I like the Houston Texans. My bookie has them as 5.5-point favorites against Jacksonville. I kind of actually expect that number to rise. I just think you look at these two teams, the way they match up, that Houston defense is so good. So many questions about that Jaguars offense. J.J. Watt is back for Houston. They've won the last 4 games against Jacksonville. They've covered in 3 of those 4 games. First game back in Houston after the hurricane. You got to imagine that place is going to be rowdy. So I'm going to, pretty much make a habit out of picking against the Jaguars this year, starting week 1 with the Texans.
Houston obviously dealing with the effects of the hurricane. Jacksonville now nervous about a hurricane for themselves. So an interesting matchup, definitely one that everybody will be watching and rooting for their fans. But when we talk about upset, I think you're also agreeing with my bookie here as well.
Yeah, I got the Los Angeles Chargers. Again, that's going to take me a while. I'm
so glad
still
that
want to call them the Clippers or the San Diego Chargers. But I like the Chargers. As my bookie has them as 3.5-point underdogs Monday night, the last game of week 1, the late night game. You look at that Denver rush defense. They did some things over the course of the offseason to kind of improve that, but they still gave up 4.5 yards thereabouts, yards per rush last year, over 100 yards per game. These two teams split last year. San Diego rushed the ball for an average of about 111 yards per game, the 2 games against Denver. And they've got Melvin Gordon, I think, is one of the better running backs in football. He's going to have a real nice season, I imagine. Phillip Rivers still can get it done as long as he limits the turnovers. Easier said than done against Denver, but that 3.5 points, that's tempting. And I like them to win that game outright, so I like the Chargers in that one.
All right, well, great stuff from Mike. As always, you want to make sure to follow along with him on Twitter at Mike Cole NESN.